the brief this morning is a disclaimer from Nigeria's anti-graft agency that the viral list of former governors under investigation for alleged corruption did not emanate from them. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has distanced itself from the purported list in circulation after several reports emerged that 58 governors, ex-governors, accused of misappropriating 2.187 trillion naira over 25 years were under the radar of the EFCC. The statement by the EFCC spokesman, Mr. Dele Oyewale, describes the report as false and misleading, as it advises everyone to verify with the Commission on any of such matters or stories in the future for clarification. In the meantime, the Deputy National President of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association, Mr. Azman Mustafa, is blaming the current fuel scarcity situation in the country on the nation's inability to increase its refining capacity. Mr. Mustafa believes that the incessant scarcity spells can be curbed with the establishment of more refineries, while asking the federal government to bring the independent marketers into a conglomerate that can set up a sizable refinery. Is also using the opportunity to urge state governors to consider refineries as a form of investment for their individual states.
They will do it as an investment, not as a government thing of doing things to the citizens free. No, they should come together to garner enough funds, even if it is 30% of the cost to build. Assuming to build a 200,000 barrels capacity refinery will cost like $5 billion today. Just a rough estimate. $5 billion will build a 200,000 barrels capacity for you, as at today. If they can raise $1 billion together, I believe they can get the financiers and the partners that will key in, because we have the market, we have the population, we have the market in this country. And don't forget, Nigeria is the major driver of the economy of the whole of West Africa. If we can produce enough and we cannot consume it, the market of the whole of West Africa is in our hands.
Well, you can catch more of that conversation at 9 p.m. today on Newsnight. And let's tell you that the president of the Trade Union Congress, Mr. Festus Osifo, is asking Nigerian government, or the government, at all levels to come up with their negotiation on the proposed 615,000 minimum wage by organized labor. Comrade Osifo, while on our program Politics Today, explains that the current economic reality has spiked cost of food, transport, amongst all domestic products, and government must seriously address the wage of workers to meet their needs.
If you are going into negotiations, you don't go with your barest minimum. That is not how it is done. So if you are going into negotiations, you look at, from your own point of view, what do you think is fair, looking at all the parameters. So you put everything together. So it is now when you take that, value, or rather that position, the other party will now also come to the table with their own positions. Then you will now start counter-argument, offer and counter offer before the minimum wage is arrived at. So that 615,000 naira is what the labor, TUC and NLC felt that with this amount, an average Nigeria will tend to be comfortable. But what we are saying is that this is our charter of demand to government. So the federal government will bring its demand, or rather its offer. The state government will bring its offer. Same thing. The organized private sector will make their case. Because in that tripartite committee, you have 6 state governors in that committee. You have 6 representation from the federal government in that committee. The organized private sector, they are about 12. Then labor, we have TUC 6, NLC 6. So that is the composition of that committee.
We're waiting to see how that plays out at the end of the day. Let's move on now. Apparently, terrorists are counting their losses with the latest onslaught by the air component of operations Hadin Kai and Well Punch of the Nigerian Air Force in the northeast and north central regions, where many terrorists were killed in airstrikes in Borno and Niger State. Report shows that with terrorists neutralized, their structures and equipment destroyed, their ability to attack ground troops and innocent Nigerians at will is limited. In a statement by the Director of Public Relations and Information of the Nigerian Air Force, Air Vice Marshal Edward Gapwet, the missions were conducted following credible intelligence on the movement of terrorists into the villages after the mass exit of locals for fear of their safety. In the meantime, the federal government says it is determined to address the root causes of ecological challenges across the country in order to protect lives and property. That assurance is coming from the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, while commissioning the Cotton Cafe flood control project in Cotton Cafe local government area of Kogi State. He explains that the federal government is taking proactive measures to mitigate reoccurrences of flood disaster. And now to some tough warnings from the Taraba State Governor, Agbu Kefas, threatening to deal with any individual or group sabotaging his free education policies and 50% tuition fees slash in tertiary institutions across the state. The governor also says the EFCC may be invited to monitor the implementation of the World Bank-assisted projects in the state in order to ensure transparency and accountability. Governor Kefas gave the warning when the Taraba State University visitation panel submitted his report on the findings on the institution.
All the money that some lecturers are collecting from them in the name of handout and all these things, some unnecessary billing, they will vomit it at the right time. So, and if in your report they are found wanting, we will suspend the management of the university. We'll suspend them. We want to do the right thing. We need the right people in the right place to do what is right. I'm not here to joke because I'm talking about the destiny of 4 million people.
Okay, tough words. Now let's talk business. The federal government is mandating system operators in the Nigerian power industry to supply not more than 6% of total available grid generation per hour to international customers or off-takers. In a directive from the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, that's NEC, to electricity generation companies, NEC says the priority system of prioritizing international customers and limiting distribution companies' off-take during times of imbalance in the grid is both inefficient and inequitable. The aggregate capacity to be allocated GENCOs, so international off-takers, in the next 6 months shall not be more than 10% of their generation capacity, according to the new order. On international scene, Togo's ruling Union for the Republic Party, UNIR, has won a sweeping majority in the country's legislative election held on April the 20th. Provisional results published so far by the Electoral Commission showed it had won 108 out of 113 seats in the parliament. The result paved the way for President Faure Gnassingbe to extend his 19-year rule under the new charter following the approval of a controversial new constitution. It allows him to take the newly created post of President of the Council of Ministers, which is similar to a Prime Minister that is automatically assumed, or somebody who automatically assumes office by the leader, according to the leadership of majority in their parliament. In sports, it's a successive win for Nigeria's Rivers Hoopers after beating Rwanda's APR 86-82 at the Basketball Africa League in the Saharan Conference at Dakar Arena. The Rivers State team, who recorded an impressive 77-68 win against Senegal. That's AS Douanes on Saturday, returned to action on Sunday to continue their fairy tale run, winning the first quarter 19-18. The Rwandan side clinched the second quarter 22-21. However, the Nigerian side didn't back down, winning the third and the fourth quarter 23-22 and 23-20. Will Perry was the best performer for the Rivers Hoopers with 31.4 rebounds and 3 assists. The team will return to the court on Tuesday when they face Tunisia's US Monastir.